With rockets continuing to rain into Israel's north and even the Ben Gurion Airport being shut down for a few hours this week due to incoming missiles, one might think that Israel is no closer to winning this war with Hezbollah than they were several months ago. However, there are several key factors that play into this situation, which if we pay attention to, might give us an indicator of how close Israel is to victory. Hint, my personal projection is that Israel is closer to victory than you might think. Let's get into all of these details and a full update on the war in Israel on today's episode. I'm Luke Hilton, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of anti-Israel propaganda and Jew hatred, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, before we dive into today's topic, I want to let you know we're doing a 10-day tour to Israel, March 31st through April 9th, 2025. And with my personal projection that the war is likely to be over by then, there is no better time to plan a trip to Israel. It's called the Heartland Experience. It's the only tour to Israel in the world that we know of that focuses exclusively on Jerusalem, Judea, and Samaria, the hidden gems of Israel. You can check it out on our website. All the details are in the description below. We'd love to have you join the Israel Guys in Israel, March 31st through April 9th, 2025. Again, just check out the link in the description below. Hope to see you in the Holy Land this coming spring. So today is day 406 of the war in Israel since October 7th, more than a year. If you recall, there was 255 people taken hostage on October 7th. To date, 154 have been freed or rescued, or unfortunately, some of them discovered dead. According to some numbers I looked up, it looks like about 117 were freed or in subsequent releases or rescued by the IDF. And then we have, bodies that have been discovered dead or hostages that have been killed in captivity since then. 101 hostages estimated to still be in captivity. I thought, after 400 days, personally, it's sad, sad as it is, I thought that perhaps a lot of those hostages were now dead. But I saw a report recently that estimated as many as 50 or more of them could still be alive. And if you think back to the Tehran taking over the U.S. embassy, I believe in the 1980s, they held American hostages for more than 400 days. So the fact that we're, day 406 of the war, even though this is not the same situation at all, and, hostages are being held and abused and tortured and held underground in a war zone, we can still hope and pray that there are hostages alive in Gaza and could still be rescued or released or brought home to their friends and families. So please continue to keep them in your prayers. We hope that there is at least 50, maybe many more still alive, and that they can be rescued or brought home very soon. 1,775 total people killed since October 7th in Israel. 794 of them IDF soldiers. Unfortunately, since Israel's gone into Lebanon to fight Hezbollah, it seems like the numbers of soldiers being killed on a weekly basis has risen because of the fierce and intense fighting happening in the north. Since October 7th, 905 civilians killed, 76 police officers and security agents in Israel. So a lot of people killed. It seems like the war is very fierce. If you follow the news in Israel, if you live in Israel, even us here in the studio, here in the central Israel and in Samaria, even though we don't have rockets that are regularly targeting us, although, yes, we experienced the Iran attack and several other, alarms and things like that, we can still hear the explosions and the booms of the Iron Dome. Sometimes the building shakes just from the Iron Dome taking out rockets in the distance. So if you were living in Israel, you would think that this war is more intense and raging, more, fiercer than ever because of the daily rockets and booms and explosions and rockets hitting major cities in Israel. Even Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv was closed for a short time this week due to incoming rocket fire. Last night, there was a report that IDF, I think helicopters were chasing a UAV in Israeli airspace for more than 40 minutes before they were able to take it down. So things like this makes you think, what in the world is going on? Even several people killed by rockets and rocket impacts in Israel in the last couple of weeks. You probably saw the crazy photo of a rocket that went straight through the windshield of a car in Ra'anana here in Israel. Have friends that live in Ra'anana. They said it was crazy. They said during a similar time, there was pieces from the Iron Dome interceptions of shrapnel that landed in their front yard, took out their planters in their front yard, all over their street. And they were picking up fragments, and that happened to us as well during the Iran attack. We had fragments of missiles and Iron Dome interceptions that we picked up. So it's a crazy time, right? You think this war is raging, it could be going on for months and months, perhaps even more than a year or several years, right? However, according to Jewish Breaking News, the IDF this week reported a drop in daily rocket fire by Hezbollah, which are now averaging less than 100 per day. 100 rockets being shot into Israel from Hezbollah every day is a lot, and it's unacceptable, and it's very dangerous, right? However, last month, the daily average was 150 to 200 per day. So it's going down, and that's a good thing, right? The IDF has assessed that Hezbollah is struggling to keep up massive rocket barrages because IDF is depleting their rocket supply. They're taking out rocket launching sites. They're discovering tunnels. They're taking out weapons depots, right? And the IDF has killed so many key commanders and senior leaders in Hezbollah. There's not a lot of people left to give orders to shoot rockets at Israel, right? When the war with Hezbollah first really escalated, the IDF was estimating that they might be able to fire thousands of rockets per day, which would overwhelm Israel's defense systems. However, it appears for the most part that it's been in the hundreds per day, and that number is rapidly dropping. This is a huge, huge win for Israel and the IDF, and personally, I think it's a signal that the war might be nearly over. More on that in just a second. Do you know one of the best ways to support Israel right now during this war is to buy products from Israeli businesses? Our friends at Blessed by Israel ship the beautiful products of small businesses and families from Israel's heartland to people all around the world. You can buy the wonderful tastes, smells, and goodness of the Promised Land, and Blessed by Israel ships them straight to your doorstep. You can check out the amazing extra virgin olive oil, savory spices, cosmetics, hand creams, soaps, lotions, chocolate. Guys, guess what? They got brand new coffee that's roasted here in Israel. It's the same coffee we drink here in the studio of the Israel guys. It's also my favorite coffee ever. They have so many more products than this. The best part about all of this is at the same time as you're enjoying the goodness of the land of Israel, you're also blessing the faithful pioneers who are restoring and rebuilding Judea and Samaria. That's right. Your purchases are an effective way to contribute to the strengthening of Israel. So head over to blessedbuyisrael.com to buy the wonderful products of Israel's heartland and support the pioneers of Judea and Samaria. Again, that's blessedbuyisrael.com. Link is in the description below. So in addition to the daily rocket barrage decreasing from the north, there is now a report that Israel may be prepared to offer Hezbollah a ceasefire agreement, possibly as like a gift or in the wake of Trump's election, even before he is sworn into office, to kick off his term really, really well by potentially ending this war with Hezbollah, right? So according to this report published by Jewish Breaking News, the agreement would include the following: Hezbollah withdrawing to the north of the Litani River. I'm going to tell you more about why that river is so important. I'll give you the details on that in just a second. The regular Lebanese army would come in and be deployed in southern Lebanon. I know it's complicated, but basically the regular Lebanese government and military has been in conflict with Hezbollah, trying to control their country for many, many years now. Even Hezbollah is like elected to their parliament in Lebanon. So there's a constant struggle. Like Lebanon is not a free country, right? And that's why Hezbollah is attacking Israel. So this ceasefire agreement would potentially call for the regular Lebanese army to come in, Hezbollah to be pulled out to southern Lebanon. During the first 60 days of the ceasefire, the Lebanese army would control southern Lebanon, monitored by U.S. and U.K. military forces. And the agreement may also give Israel the ability to operate and to respond to any violations of the ceasefire in southern Lebanon, including we're talking about weapon smuggling from Syria, condoned by Russia, by the way, or attempts to rearm Hezbollah. Sources also indicate Hezbollah may be willing to agree to this ceasefire, although the idea of Israel having the freedom to operate in southern Lebanon if they violate the ceasefire definitely is hard for them to swallow. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with this. I do want to explain the Litani River. You've probably seen this in the news, right? Okay, so after the war between Israel and Lebanon, Israel and Hezbollah ended in 2006, part of the end of the war, including UN Resolution 1701 that ended in 2006, they made an area between the Israel's northern border and the Litani River called the Blue Zone. Basically, this area was intended to create a buffer zone between Israel and Hezbollah, right? So you got Israel's northern border, and then within 6 to 17 miles between the northern border and the Litani River, you have this buffer zone. Okay, 17 miles between the north of Israel and the river in the middle, and then it's as short as 6 miles on the eastern side. So, according to that agreement in 2006, only Lebanese military and UN forces were allowed to be deployed in the area. Obviously, Hezbollah violated that last agreement and the UN resolution, and they dug into the southern Lebanon, including tunnels, weapon launching sites, weapon depots, massive tunnel network, and rocket launching sites, things like that. But this is really the focal point of this war right now, for Israel to push Hezbollah north of the Litani River and to get that buffer zone back. And if they can do that, they might be willing to actually agree to a ceasefire. Obviously, as we know, Hezbollah and Hamas and so many of Israel's other enemies are unwilling to agree to any ceasefire, because their goal is just to destroy Israel and the Jewish people. So it remains to be seen if they'll agree to this or not. Okay, so in conclusion, as to what's happening with the war right now, if Israel's goal is to completely eradicate Hezbollah, as their goal is with Hamas in Gaza, this war could take a lot longer. Now, Israel's had a goal to eradicate Hamas, and they're so close to doing to that objective in the Gaza Strip. Hezbollah is a very different story, because they are an actual, they're almost like a country. Their military and their, weapons and their funding and their training is so sophisticated, right? So to eradicate Hezbollah could be a multi-year war, right? And then we do know Israel's main objective is to push Hezbollah north of the Litani River to create that blue zone as a buffer zone again between Israel and Hezbollah. Why? Because they want to eliminate the possibility of them shooting or launching rockets from the blue zone, that buffer area. And Israel wants to return their, I believe it's 60 to 80,000 citizens back to their homes in the north who are currently evacuated. The entire the northern border of Israel has been evacuated, and you got 60 to 80,000 Israeli civilians who are not living in their homes. And obviously that is not a long-term solution. Israel needs to get these people back into their homes. They need to get their economy back on track. They need to get their nation back to normal. So obviously it'd be better to eradicate Hezbollah. However, because Israel is dealing with so many citizens being evacuated, for Israel's sanity, return to normal, and the economy, their main goal for this war might be to just cripple Hezbollah, eliminate a lot of their weapons and their weapons depots and tunnels and launch sites, create that blue zone as a buffer zone between the northern border and the Litani River again. Israel might be satisfied with that, at least for now. Guys, I think the war between Israel and Hezbollah, Israel and Hamas, any of Israel's other enemies, the end to that war and victory for Israel may be closer than we think. I think it's coming very, very soon. Obviously, please continue to support Israel. Pray for Israel to be victorious in these wars, and pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Guys, don't forget to purchase products from Judea and Samaria at Blessed by Israel. That's blessedbyisrael.com. We'll also have the link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about today's topic in the comments section. As always, stop believing to the lies and propaganda and connect with the truth of what's happening here in Israel. We'll be back very soon here at the Israel Guys.